Should we count how many times I say I feel like? Although I don't feel like I talk.
I'm so glad I got that on camera. All right, guys, welcome back to the Live Ready Fitness podcast, where we help you take back control of your life through fitness and nutrition coaching. I am here with my co-host, Heidi. Hi, Heidi.
Hi.
And we are getting ready to talk about something a little different. We had something else scheduled, but because of the conversations that I've been having with clients and just hearing about this over and over, we decided to change the subject a little bit.
It's a little touchy.
Yeah, it's a little touchy, so stay with me. Basically, what we're going to be talking about is, should you get nutrition advice from your doctor? And the way this kind of all started was, I meet with clients every day to talk to them about if we have programs that fit for them. And everybody's different. And that's why we sit down with each and every client to make sure that they get something that's individualized for them. And so recently I was talking to somebody about what they were doing for nutrition currently. Okay. And sometimes that conversation will just go of like, walk me through what a normal day of eating looks like for you. And as I was talking, I realized that this person was eating maybe once a day.
Awesome.
Right. And eating these bars that she kept on talking about, and basically saying how she was feeling tired and lethargic and didn't really have motivation to do anything, and was still dealing with putting on weight and still dealing with heart disease and still dealing with high blood pressure and all of these different things, but swore up and down that the answer was eating once a day and eating these bars. Mm-hmm. And so we know that that's not
bad advice.
Right. That's really bad advice, because she's feeling that way because of the fact that she's not eating. Right. And even what she is eating, she's not eating the correct things. Mm-hmm. So my question to her was, where are you getting this advice from? Who's telling you these things? And she's definitely not the only one that has responded to me that this is something that her doctor told her to do. Now, this person in particular was actually said that her cardiologist specifically said that if she ate these 2 bars a day, which were 150 calories and who knows what was in them, and ate 1 meal a day, which no specification of what the meal should entail.
And that's just not how people eat.
Right, exactly. And said that in the next 30 days, she would see a dramatic weight loss, her blood pressure would go down, and all of these other promises, to the point where it was like a guarantee, which I didn't even know that doctors were allowed to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I can't even tell you my reaction, to the point where I was like, just go ahead and have your cardiologist call me.
Not podcast friendly.
Right, exactly. Definitely not podcast friendly. And then as I dug in a little bit further, I asked her, how many doctors have you talked to? And she stated that she had talked to 10 different doctors, all giving her different nutrition advice.
Oh my gosh.
And as much as I tried to show this person that wasn't the way, she got her information from a doctor. So it was hard to get her to see that's not really great advice.
Right.
And unfortunately, because of the fact that she was getting it from a doctor, she thought it was law.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, and that's why I thought, we've really got to do something about that type of misinformation that's happening, because of the fact that it's happening from a professional like a doctor.
Right. And we're taught that doctors know all things about all things.
Right. And so I want to be clear, we both want to be clear in the fact that we are not attacking doctors. Mm-hmm. There is no harder job. I mean, there's probably hard jobs, but doctors, they save lives. They go through tons of schooling, spend hours and hours. I think the average doctor I was reading works about 60 hours a week, and they're constantly learning and they're constantly doing amazing things. Mm-hmm. But the reality of it is, the schooling and the system is not teaching them correct nutrition advice.
Right.
And the way our system works is it's reactive. Mm-hmm. It's not very preventative. It's reactive, right? Doctor sees you have symptoms, they treat them. Mm-hmm. And so to kind of go over what kind of schooling doctors are getting, or what kind of training, We looked this up this morning. We were just going through and finding how many hours do doctors get of actual nutrition education. And we found that most schools are getting less than 25 hours or giving less than 25 hours of nutrition training as part of a medical degree.
Just put that in perspective for me and everyone listening. Like, how many hours would a coach, how many hours of nutrition training do you feel like you've gotten?
Well, I think every coach is going to be different. I would say easily, if you're talking about nutrition training, I've got to be upwards of 600-700 hours of actual like education. We're talking seminars, books, courses, those kind of things. And that's not including putting that into actual practice. So you imagine 25 hours or less. And another way to, I think, put that in perspective is if a doctor told you before they perform surgery on you that I have 25 hours or less of experience or education on a surgery, would you allow that doctor to do the surgery? And even though those are an extreme thing,
they're still important.
Right. It's still incredibly important.
Yep.
Right. You go to a doctor as a professional because you believe that this person has 7 years, 8 years of schooling plus the experience that they had of a residency working under another doctor doing all these things.
Right.
But yet having less than 25 hours of education is something that everyone's just okay with.
Right.
When they listen to a doctor.
Well, and I think that's just not common knowledge either, that they have such little education in nutrition.
I think that's exactly the issue. And I don't know why. And again, I think just like any other profession, there are good doctors, there are great doctors, there are doctors that are indifferent. But I don't understand why more doctors are not referring out. Why wouldn't you refer out?
Right. If you know that you really aren't the authority in this particular topic, why wouldn't you get to someone who is the authority in there?
Right. And if you don't know, for you guys that are listening, there are specialists in diet. There are specialists, doctors. They're called dietitians. and they're the people who have a degree in nutrition, specifically nutrition. That is their specialty. So again, something I think about is when you go to your primary doctor generally doesn't do much treating for anything than a quick fix, right? So you go in for a headache, they may prescribe you some medicine for a headache. Maybe you're feeling some soreness. They're giving you things for quick symptoms or things that they know, okay, I can diagnose this right here on the spot. It takes me 2 or 3 minutes to diagnose. And then I'm going to give you whatever the fix is, whether that's medicine, whether that's go home and rest, whatever the case is.
Right.
But for anything outside of something that they can diagnose quickly, you get sent to a specialist.
Right. I mean, yeah, think about you break your arm. You literally don't even get casted the same day. You have to make an appointment with a different doctor. Absolutely.
If you have backbone issues, your primary doctor is not cracking your back.
Right.
You're going to
I hope not.
Right, I hope not. You're going to a chiropractor. If you need surgery, you're going to a surgeon. You got heart issues, you're going to a cardiologist. There's literally a specialty doctor for everything, and nutrition's no different. And so when you go to a doctor and they notice you're pre-diabetic or you're obese or you're overweight, what I'm hearing is they're saying you need to lose weight, eat less food, or try these diets that apparently either they're trying or they think that this is the answer.
Right.
But it's not. It should be like anything else where you're saying, hey, go to a dietitian. They will diagnose what issue you have going on because every single person is different.
Yep.
We were talking earlier about you and going to your endocrinologist. If you guys don't know, Heidi's a type 1 diabetic. That has its own challenge as well. What were you telling me about that?
I had one endocrinologist who I think she was the best one that I've ever had. And she is a specialty. Like, she has a specialty. But she even said, endocrinologists, we literally don't know about nutrition. We are learning from you. The diabetics are teaching us the best way to eat for diabetics. So you should try this. Let's try this. But she was so great because she was also trying what she was prescribing. And she wasn't prescribing, but she was giving advice. right? So she was like, if you want to try keto, like do that. But she knew I was in fitness. So she was like, oh, maybe not keto for you because you lift a lot of weights, but maybe try lower carb. And then a couple months later, she was like, I don't know. I read some, like a vegan book and that's pretty good. So maybe try that. And that is not for me. But she just was so open and willing to say, we don't know what we're doing in this department. I can prescribe you. I can get you your medicine. But nutrition, we're all just figuring it out together.
Right.
I respected that so much. It was so much freedom. And my diabetes is very well controlled, but we just had so much data. What would work for me? Okay, let's try this for a month. Okay, my blood sugars are kind of weird. Let's do something else. It was so good. We kept track. It was great.
Right. And my daughter's a type 1 diabetic as well. And you're actually going to see her. You now are at the same office, same endocrinologist. But they have a dietitian, nutritionist on staff. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for that.
Yes.
If the endocrinologist or the doctor there knew everything about nutrition, they wouldn't have a specialist to do that for you. Mm-hmm. So that brings us really to what should you be doing? What should actually be happening? If you are going to your doctor and you know that what's going to take care of 90% of your problems is losing weight and eating healthier foods and trying to get to a healthy weight, which I can tell you will take care of a big chunk of your issues, especially if you're pre-diabetic, you're dealing with high blood pressure and things like that.
Yeah.
And your doctor just gives you some random piece of advice like lose weight or try keto, things like that. First of all, I think you hit the nail on the head and you said your doctor was trying the things that they were telling you to do.
Right.
I can respect that more than a doctor that's telling you things to do but is not doing it themselves.
Right.
If your doctor doesn't look healthier than you, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't. Yeah, that's a problem because that's just showing you that they're not doing the correct nutrition stuff either. And again, not saying anything bad about the doctor. They could have their own issues. They could have other things that are going on. But at the end of the day, it should be a candid conversation of what kind of nutrition advice do you have? Have you tried these things? Have they worked for other clients?
Yep.
And then the other thing you can do is what I would do and just ask to be referred to a dietitian. I looked it up today and most insurance companies cover that. As long as your doctor is referring you to the dietitian or nutritionist, that your insurance company will cover it. So why not take advantage of that?
Yes.
And go see the specialist that will individualize a plan for you and find out what works for you and know the things to test to see what you actually have going on.
Yeah.
Because you can go see a dietitian, which a dietitian is going to be able to treat like clinical conditions. Mm-hmm. For instance, like if you had an eating disorder, you would go to a dietitian, and then you can also go see a nutritionist. The difference there is that nutritionists are going to be a lot more varied in what kind of training they have.
And education.
And education, right? They can get certified. They don't necessarily need to take a test or have like a degree. They can just go online or get specific certifications. So if you are dealing with a nutritionist, again, I would ask what is their specialty? How many people do they help? How many clients have they had? That kind of background experience.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And also, again, what do they eat like? This sounds not great, and I'm going to say it anyway. But like, what do they look like?
Right. To some extent, they have to practice what they preach. We're not saying that the person that's giving you advice needs to be this ripped, shredded, just unbelievable, but they need to look healthy.
Right.
They need to look healthy. I mean, that would be like if you walked into a gym and the person that's about to train you is just like way, 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 way more out of shape than you.
Right.
And they had no reason for that. Now, if they have a reason, again, there is hormonal issues, there's genetics that take place and take role.
Right.
But those are questions that need to be asked. And if they're not okay with talking about that or they take offense to that, then they're in the wrong industry.
That's right.
And so I think you just need to be really vigilant about who you're getting your nutrition advice from, because guys, it's so important. It's so important. There is so much false advice out there. And unfortunately, we just see doctors, like you said, as these people that know everything. And that's a ton of pressure for the doctor. I completely get it.
Yeah.
The system is not working in their favor. But at the same time, you have to take ownership of your health.
Right. Yep. That's absolutely right.
Yeah. The other way you can go too, and this is also something I recommend, is if you go see a dietitian or nutritionist, they're giving you a plan, those kind of things, is it's hard to do on your own. It's not going to be something where somebody hands you a piece of paper and then you turn around and everything is perfect. Those things need to be coached. You need to figure out what works for you. And that's where health coaches, those are kind of on the same plane as a nutritionist, are going to come into place.
Right, because you're going to have to change. Like, it's trial and error.
Right.
Yeah.
And just like anything else, you want to get better at a sport, you get a coach. You want to get better at fitness, you get a coach. You want to get better at business, you get a coach.
You want to get better at eating, you get a coach.
You get a coach. And there's tons and tons and tons of health coaches. You can Google, and obviously you're in the Phoenix City, Columbus area. You can definitely come talk to us. You can drop a comment and we'll try to help you out. But if you're struggling with nutrition, the best piece of advice I can give you is find an expert and get their help.
Yes.
At the very least, get a consultation. Most health coaches offer it for free. So get yourself a consultation from an expert at nutrition, not someone who is just generally treating symptoms and the things that they see.
Yep.
So we're going to leave you guys with that thought unless you have anything extra.
I don't think so.
All right, guys, you can find us in all of our social media outlets, which Heidi will tell you because she's our marketing manager.
That's right. Yeah. So we are on Facebook. If you just search Live Ready Fitness, our Instagram handle is at Live Ready Fitness. And you can find us on YouTube, again, searching Live Ready Fitness. So if there's any confusion, just remember it's just Live Ready Fitness.
Just go back to the Live Ready Fitness.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you loved it, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us how we're doing. We love feedback, and have an absolutely fantastic next couple of weeks. See you next time.